is that the Bible is not a flat earth book. Again, the reason I'm doing this is because there's a lot of confusion about what people are claiming the Bible says. People are suggesting that the Bible is a flat earth book. I argue that it's not. And I'm not basing that because I think NASA is the greatest thing or something out there, but because of the language of the Bible. I actually studied at the Hebrew University. I studied Hebrew, lots of ancient languages. I studied the ancient Near East. I mention that just so that you know that I'm not inventing this stuff, but I actually did do some study. Well, the latest thing in our discussion is the four corners of the earth, and we need to understand why you can have a spatial or a spherical earth with corners. This is one understanding. This is based on Revelation 7:1. I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth. Well, there you go. I mean, the Bible says it, so that settles it, right? We should just believe that. Well, look, I do believe the Bible, but sometimes we have to go back to the original languages to really understand what that's talking about. Because otherwise, we have a real problem here. I mean, how do you get four corners out of the earth when it's supposed to be round? Even if it's round like a pancake, you can't have four corners on a round pancake, can you? I mean, you can't have it both ways. So we have to go back and actually look at the original language here, and that's going to help us to understand what is actually going on. And when we actually do look at the original languages, this whole idea of four literal corners of the earth goes away. We begin to understand it not allegorically, it's still literal, but the way that we can understand it is something that makes a lot more sense. So it's not this idea, because this obviously isn't going to work. We have to go back and understand something a bit different. So four corners of the earth really is talking about far away places. Take a look at the language of the Bible itself. We'll start with the book of Isaiah. He will set up a banner for the nations and will assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Well, the Hebrew here is kanfot haaretz. Kanfot. The word kanaf is a wing. It means a wing. The kanaf or kanafim are the two wings. It could also be your shoulders. It could also be the edge of a garment. So the kanaf can be several different things. We notice in Ezekiel 7:2, an end, the end has come upon the four corners of the land. Again, here's the word kanfot haaretz. It doesn't have to be, 90-degree angles. That's not talking about that. It's talking about some kind of an extremity. Let's look at this. This is according to Brown Driver Briggs. Again, I mention these things because people think that I'm just making these things up, or they say, "Are you really smarter than this guy?" No, I don't think I'm really smarter than a lot of people. But when we go back and we look at the actual language, this whole idea of a flat earth, it falls flat on its face, really, when we take a look at the actual language. So here we are looking at the Brown Driver Briggs. It says wing, extremity, edge, winged, border, corner, shirt, a wing or extremity, a skirt or corner of a garment. So again, it doesn't have to be a 90-degree angle. It's not that kind of a corner, but it's any kind of an edge, any kind of a outer extremity. Think about this. So you might go to a hospital or some building, and you could say in the west wing or in the east wing, in the north wing, right? Those are also wings, but they don't think of them in the sense that they're not necessarily like the wings of a bird, but the same word, wing, can be used in several different ways. Same thing here. This word kanaf or kanfot haaretz, it's being used in different ways. It doesn't have to refer to an actual corner like you have inside your house or outside your house or some kind of a 90-degree angle. It's not talking about that. It's talking about some kind of a far away place, an extremity, an edge is what we're getting at. The ends of the earth. Jeremiah 9:26. Egypt, Judah, Edom, the people of Ammon, Moab, and all who are in the farthest corners who dwell in the wilderness. Well, again, if we were to take the flat earth idea and there's four corners, Well, as we saw in that graphic there, supposedly there's nobody living in those four corners. And even if we understand, as the flat earth people suggest, that the South Pole or the Antarctica is actually surrounding the Earth, and there's a 150-foot ice wall or something. Well, supposedly there's nobody living there. Certainly the people of Egypt, Judah, and Edom, and Moab, Ammon, Moab, and all who are in the farthest corners who dwell in the wilderness, certainly those people aren't living out there. They're living, of course, in the Middle East. They're not living at Antarctica, right? So again, it falls flat. And here's the word ktutse. We see it in Jeremiah 25:23. Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all who are in the farthest corners. Again, ktutse, if we take a look at this word here, that's from the word ketsev, and it means an end, a border, or a boundary. All right, and again, it's not talking about the 90-degree angles of planet Earth or pancake Earth. It's not talking about that. It's just not referring to that at all. So if we go back here and look at Revelation 7:1, I saw the four angels standing at the four corners. This is the Greek word gonia of the earth. If we take a look at the Liddell Scott Jones Classical Greek Lexicon, all right, so again, here's our authority, the Liddell Scott Jones Classical Greek Lexicon. It's not me, I'm not saying this. These are people that are experts in Greek. All right, and so here they cite Ptolemy, and he says of the four corners of the compass. All right, it's not the idea that you have to have 90-degree angles. It's the four quadrants, the four quarters. It's the four quarters of the compass. So again, you can easily divide the Earth into four quarters of the compass. It doesn't mean that the Earth has to be a block or has to be a square or something like that. That's not what it's talking about. So once again, we see that this whole idea of the flat earth just doesn't make any sense. Even here on our maps, we can see the four quadrants or the four corners of the earth, but it doesn't mean that the earth is a square. I'm sorry to say that people are getting sucked into this idea of a flat earth based on faulty interpretations or translations of the Bible. When you go back and you look at the actual Hebrew and Greek, it doesn't say what people think that it's saying. And there's a lot of teachers going around suggesting to the contrary, very much to their own demise and to others as well. So again, we see the four quadrants of the four corners of the earth. It's all right there. Well, next time we're going to look at the world not moved in our series on the Bible is not a flat earth book, because it's not. And I don't need people to tell me that, well, I need to believe the Bible. I do believe the Bible. I'm taking the Bible literally. I'm looking at the language of the Bible, and it doesn't tell me that it's a flat earth book. Well, until next time, you guys, God bless. Stay in the Word. I encourage you. It has all the answers, and thankfully the earth is not flat. Take care.